Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Our top stories in the news tonight: embattled Joe Malanji vows to defend the KWACHA seat from the UPND. Confusion erupts as census applicants overwhelm ZAMSTATS. Government urged not to employ a UPND cadre as chief electoral officer. In international news, South Africa police makes 40 more arrests after gang rapes of 8 women. And in sports news, Army commander promotes Green Buffaloes players.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello once again, another news in detail. Youths in Luangwa district say they have given themselves to illicit activities such as prostitution, alcohol and substance abuse due to the limited economic activities in the district. In an interview, the youths say ever since the closure of the Luangwa border post for imports and exports in 2020, the situation has worsened as the district only has a few economic activities such as fish trading. A number of borders were in 2020 closed for imports and exports in the height of the corona pandemic to lessen on human traffic. More in this report.
Luangwa district houses 2 of the biggest rivers in southern Africa, namely the Zambezi and the Luangwa River. This means that fishing is the predominant economic activity in the district. The freedom to trade with other countries has always enabled residents of such districts the freedom to diversify to other businesses as they can trade with nearby countries. The onset of the coronavirus pandemic saw a number of borders in Zambia being closed for imports and exports as one way of lessening interactions and reducing the spread of the virus. Youth in Luangwa district, however, lament that the continued closure of the Luangwa border post 2 years on has forced many of them into illicit activities as they have no productive things to do. So
that makolo bato is the youth beti bora na mpamvu swanga vutike mkategulira border tizankala bantu otandizira makolo bato ovutika ndaba life yokuti tikazinkata be mu mabati zunguluka chabe kulipena ma benefit 80 pesa hapo tiziononga manje teka tambo kugulisa matupi yatu kulibe vili vonse koma tipempa boma emene mulipo tilangane nkoni.
Meanwhile, a local cooperative, the Zambezi Cross-Border Youth Multipurpose Cooperative Society, has also called on government to urgently consider reopening the border.
And then tikangana mani kuno kuluangwa stilima or stita chani timashita survive kwa mene months fishing and then na border amene ya kulbe farming kuno kuluangwa. So tipe mpako kuli government yatu amene ilipo new dawn government kuti tandizeko kuti sekulirako chani border yatu pa business amene tunakuchita kuti tibwanje tipitirize tikaseweza business yatu chifukwa tikangana mani kuno makubevo chita kuno.
In a separate interview, Universal Center for Investment and Development Director Acta Maunga has also spoken out on the situation in the district.
This area, the Luangwa border, is a very good business place because it has got a triangle business between Zambia, Mozambique and Zimbabwe. So as Universal Investment Center, we are appealing to government to consider the one-stop border post at this area, which can help or can promote trade, and this trade can promote investment and in both countries.
Youth unemployment levels in the country remain high, necessitating urgent measures to address the problem. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News.
The installation of 400 concrete bins in Lusaka's Central Business District by the Lusaka City Council has stalled. The council earlier stated that it had embarked on the placement of 400 West concrete bins along Freedom Way and Lumumba roads to enhance cleanliness in the Central Business District. Speaking to Camnet News, Brian Mfula says the introduction of the said beans hasn't made much of a difference, seeing that people still indiscriminately dump garbage, and has urged the LCC to increase the size of the bins if they are to be effective. More in this report.
On the 20th of June 2022, Lusaka City Council announced the commencement of the placement of 400 concrete bins in the Central Business District. The concrete bins, according to Lusaka City Council, were arrived at to avoid the vandalism that has been observed with regards to plastic and metallic bins that have been mounted before. However, since June, the placement of the said bins has since stored, with only a stretch along Freedom Way having the bins, while Lumumba Road has none. Earlier, Camnet TV ran a story over the concrete bins that had started to develop cracks, and vendors doubted their durability.
Because mwaona wakanso mawe nabwera kuti batenge mabini mukatu munaperesa che barafu so bakandwa kufika chani kufika pansi so sivipanga sense futi na mibo pansi bilibe so romance
nankani orochimwana chikangira musipwa information. So the good thing is to have my papa for many at least to have and again,
and speaking to Camnet TV, Brian Mfula, who opted not to be on camera, echoes the similar remarks, stating that the concrete bins are not suitable for the Central Business District.
As at now, I'm a bin okay, but for future, they can't survive. And then they are too small. Hafuike baleta kwechinta kwati chikuru mama pira twikere pale three-pot-wing mama pa same position, so in future it can't work. Otherwise as at now yalebo mbafi wino, so let's say infulanga yaisa amenshumule yanga yaisa bakachimya shanche and then kanono taikwete na maokusumwa kwimisha filiaso.
Meanwhile, when contacted for a comment, Lusaka City Council was unable to respond. One is left to wonder if this is another failed attempt to abet the accumulation and indiscriminate disposal of waste in the CBD by the Lusaka City Council. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
Lusaka residents have expressed disappointment in the manner in which the Zambia Statistical Agency, ZAMSTATS, has handled the setting of aptitude tests meant to select candidates for the 2020 census part-time jobs. In an interview, the residents who Wednesday flocked in thousands to the Lusaka Business and Technical College to undertake the tests feel the agency should have allowed each constituency to have its own examination center. Others also feel the process may disadvantage those with underlying conditions who have given up due to congestion. More in the following report.
Started as a normal day at the Lusaka Business and Technical College in Lusaka progressed to be a very stressful day for over 24,000 Lusaka residents who came to the college to undertake aptitude tests to be among the 45,000 supervisors and enumerators short-term jobs for the 2022 census of housing and population.
Let people be divided according to the constituencies.
Some participants, however, feel the process was not well organized, considering that only one center was allocated for the exercise, which was catering for 5 constituencies of Lusaka, involving over 24,000 people.
Against the health regulations, and then it is not healthy for the people to be compelled to stand for such a long time in a single place.
Other, they are told to do this, so they're supposed to be guided properly to say you're supposed to be at this place, you're supposed to be per constituents. It would have been of help. Like for this, it's a clear indication that something is wrong somewhere. Let me even take this opportunity to say it speaks a lot for our leaders that they really need to improve on entrepreneurial things that need at least to boost us so that we stop lining up.
Meanwhile, Lusaka Province Permanent Secretary later informed the participants that they moved to the Hero Stadium where the tests were going to be undertaken and the transport was going to be provided for those who had no transport.
Without transport, we are going to provide transport to take you to Hero Stadium. So those who are here, you can start off and there, you know how the stadium is. It is going to be easy for us to organize you.
And Zambia Statistical Agency Interim Statistician General Mulenga Msepa in an interview informed this reporter that the overwhelming response was expected as those who also did not receive messages were given an opportunity to write the tests.
I think first and foremost, let me just say that initially we had a challenge. The district committee had a challenge with a venue. The response has been overwhelming. But with the guidance of the PS for Lusaka Province and the DC and the committee members, that is the District Census Recruitment Committee, District Committee, they came on board and we quickly arranged for a venue, which is the Hero Stadium. And so far, everything is calm and the aptitude test started some 2 hours ago.
It should be noted that out of the 24,000 people attempting the aptitude test, only 3,000 will be selected in Lusaka constituency. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
Meanwhile, a group of young people at the Lusaka Business and Technical College took advantage of a high number of people to make some money through quick business. The youth seized an opportunity to help some people while making some money in the process by providing a service in form of a fee-paying toilet and charging mobile phones at a minimum fee. They have encouraged other young people to be always on the lookout for opportunities that exist in their localities. Patrick Soko reports.
For a moment, one may think this is a political rally. However, this is a gathering of people hoping to be among supervisors and enumerators under the forthcoming national population of census who turned up in multitude for the aptitude test, much to the gratitude of others who saw a business opportunity. This is a group of youths at the Lusaka Business Technical College who seized an opportunity to help people while making some money by providing a service in form of a fee-paying toilet and charging mobile phones at a minimum fee.
Someone just came up with an idea, so we decided to follow it up, and we didn't know it could generate so much income. I think it's better to try it out than to just think about things.
People might enter, use the toilets, and the toilets will be dirty, and there'll be no one to clean them, and maybe buy disinfectant and all the materials that they use. So for us, the money that we're raising, we'll use the money to buy the cleaning utensils, the disinfectants, and clean.
They share with Camnet News that life is about understanding the people's needs and providing a service. Others say it is their desire to get involved in business, but the lack of capital has been a major setback, further stating that the motive is not only to make money, but to help others.
Which people are going in, where are they going? Because the toilets and the room are too close to each other. So that's the reason why we decided to be here, monitoring everything that is going on and monitoring everyone who's going inside. And we are not just doing that, we are even helping people because you know, the toilets are inside, you don't have toilets outside. You can find that people, they are in need, they don't know where. You can find someone may end up entering in a long room. But that's the reason why we are here to help people, not just because we need also money, but we need money, also we are making money, but also we are doing it for the people that are here. And as we said earlier, this came just unannounced. We was not aware that this thing can happen. When we saw the crowd people, they started asking for the tourists. Then we came up with a plan. Now, what if we do this?
Indeed, for today, their menu will be different.
You know, today we won't eat chunks.
Yeah, we're not
That's
eating
the fact.
chunks. Chicken.
We are going to eat chicken. We have gained in this. Chicken. So guys, the advice is no, opportunities everywhere where you see. Don't wait for someone to come and push you to do something. Anything that you see, aim on it, dream big, aim high, and do everything that you are supposed to, everything that you think of doing, it can happen. Just the mindset. If you think negative, you are going to be negative in everything. But if you think positive, you are going to benefit in everything that you are doing.
The United Party for National Development, UPND administration, has assured that it is not for handouts, but creation of opportunities. One only hopes those opportunities will come fast so that young people can find means to earn a living. So that some young people can find means to earn a living.
And they should follow up the COVID regulations.
Yeah,
proper.
the COVID regulations. Make sure.
That's why.
People are not sanitizing there are no buckets, there are no face masks, but they are there.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
In a related development, a teacher at Kangambwa Primary School in Petauke District of Eastern Province attempted to defy the order by government that all civil servants should not apply for any census jobs. The named teacher applied with hopes that he will get away with it. However, when his name was called, members of the public recognized his identity, causing commotion until the district commissioner Martha Mulenga intervened. More in this report.
What started as a normal day with the district commissioner in Petauke District, Eastern Province, Martha Mulenga, launching the start of the aptitude test for the recruitment of supervisors and enumerators at Petauke Boarding Secondary School, turned out to be unpleasant at some point. This was due to non-adherence to the directive by government that civil servants and all those already in employment should not apply for the advertised jobs. However, a teacher at Kangambwe Primary School almost got away with it as he secretly applied and was called to attempt the test. At the mention of his name, members of the public realized he was a civil servant, causing commotion among the people who wanted to attempt the test.
Mr. Mkandawile, I advised in the first place, teachers, nurses, civil servants that have been employed by government, please can we leave chance for the youths that are not employed. It is very categorically said, you are on a salary. You want to deprive your fellow youths who are not, look at the camera, look at the camera. You want to deprive those that are not benefiting anything from government. Later on, these will be saying, President Hakainde is not looking after us. But it is you who is not helping the president. I announced there, don't say you didn't listen. You were there, Mr. Mkandawile. I came in here and I said, you didn't stand up, not until, mind you, don't argue with me. Don't argue with me. Which school do you come from? I'm sorry. Which school do you come from? Where we belong. Which school? Tell me the school. If you don't tell me, I'll call Debs. I am with Debs. Tell me the school. Mary, thank you.
District Census Coordinator disclosed that the process aims at recruiting about 541 supervisors and enumerators for the exercise.
They have come to attend the aptitude test, and those who will pass the aptitude test are going to be selected to be enumerators and supervisors. So the total number of people we are expecting to choose from here is about 551. He said everything in place.
Meanwhile, Petauke District Commissioner Martha Mulenga has urged the Census Coordinating Committee to work professionally during the recruitment process of the 2022 census exercise to help the country achieve the purpose of the exercise.
His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema has put it very clear that only those that are not in informal employment are the ones to take part in the census. In order for them to have some empowerment, if someone someone is a civil servant, please, that we spoke very clear in the morning, they were not supposed to take part because they are already empowered by government.
The 2022 census marks the sixth national population exercise of Zambia since its independence in 1964, with the previous censuses being conducted in 1969, 1980, 2000 and 2010. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News.
The Constitutional Court has upheld the Lusaka High Court's decision to declare the election of Joseph Malanji as KWACHA constituency member of parliament null and void for not possessing a secondary school certificate during the August 12, 2021 general election. Delivering the majority judgment Wednesday morning, Constitutional Court Vice President Professor Margaret Munalula ruled that Mr. Malanji failed to produce his grade 12 certificate to determine his eligibility to contest last year's elections, which is a requisite academic qualification when filing in nomination papers in line with the Constitution. More in this report.
The judgment by the Constitutional Court Wednesday morning, the 3rd of August 2022, left members of the ruling United Party for National Development who had gone to offer solidarity to their KWACHA losing candidate in celebration after the court upheld the lower court's decision to nullify Mr. Joseph Malanji's election as KWACHA constituency member of parliament, as he did not possess a grade 12 certificate.
For KWACHA, the seat has been nullified and it now remains with the Electoral Commission of Zambia to take it up from there and give us a direction on how we are going to proceed from now on. But one thing that the court is telling us, the lesson that the court is sending across is that every person that aspires for public office must actually conduct in an exemplary manner.
After putting up a spirited fight to defend his election as KWACHA constituency member of parliament, the former lawmaker will be required to go back to the drawing board if he so wishes to recontest, following the Constitutional Court affirming the lower court's decision to nullify his election. In its majority judgment, the court maintains the lower court's decision, stating that it was on firm ground when it held that Mr. Malanji did not possess a grade 12 certificate as the said secondary school certificate, which is a requisite academic qualification when filing in nomination papers in line with Article 71D of the Constitution, was never produced before court. Meanwhile, the minority judgment states that the lower court erred in law, in fact, when it shifted the burden of proof for Mr. Malanji to prove that he did not have a secondary school certificate instead of the petitioner, Mr. Charles Mulenga, the losing UPND candidate. For the opposition Patriotic Front, this was another sad news, given the fact that last week the Concord also declared vacant the Kabushi seat after nullifying the election of Mr. Bowman Lusambo.
I'm shocked. I don't know the kind of justice that we are following in this country. I'm very, very shocked because in this case, two rulings have been made. There's the majority rule, which has upheld the nullification of Honorable Malanji's case, and then there's the minority rule. And according to the minority rule, is that the burden of proof should not have shifted to Honorable Malanji. The person who complained and who brought this case to court should have proved beyond reasonable doubt that Honorable Malanji did not possess a grade 12 certificate. Well, the court has decided, so it's work and work, so we shall go back to KWACHA.
Known by many as Bonanza, Mr. Malanji took his appeal before the Constitutional Court in 2021 after a High Court judge nullified his election following a petition filed by United Party for National Development losing candidate Charles Mulenga. The former lawmaker pleaded with the Concord to quash the lower court's decision on ground that the lower court shifted the burden of proof on himself to prove that he possessed a grade 12 certificate when the petitioner, Mr. Mulenga of the UPND, failed to prove the allegations. So far, all the election of the opposition members which were nullified by the lower courts, only 2 have been declared vacant. KWACHA and KWACHA face calling for by-election in the next 90 days.
Sisters from Angola, they told me to keep you strong, man. Keep strong, man. Keep strong. And they don't know you. They're strong boys. They don't call us boys. They're just strong boys, huh?
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Caritas Zambia Executive Director Gabriel Mapalanga has urged churches in Zambia to avoid being used by politicians to propel their political agenda. In an interview, Father Mapalanga notes that recent happenings in the country do not paint a good light on the body of Christ, as the church is supposed to maintain a neutral stance. On Sunday, 31st July 2022, former Kabushi Member of Parliament Boman Lusambo, who recently lost his seat in an election petition, used the Holy Cross Catholic Church in Kabushi to declare his intentions to recontest the seat. More in this report.
Churches in Zambia have always played the role of offering national guidance and ensuring that peace prevails in the country through offering necessary counsel. The past few years have seen a number of churches taking political sides and giving prophecies in favor of certain candidates. These acts were, however, condemned by many, especially after the prophecies did not come to pass during the 12th August 2021 general elections. 11 months later, the country is again in a political atmosphere after a number of seats belonging to members of parliament have been nullified by the courts based on various anomalies. This saw former Kabushi MP Boman Lusambo, who is one of the affected, going fully political at the Holy Cross Catholic Church in Kabushi constituency on Sunday, where he gave political messages in church. This has irked Caritas Zambia Executive Director Gabriel Mapalanga, who says the church should endeavor to remain neutral. Father Mapalanga was speaking to Camnet News.
When it comes to church, people come to church. They say the politicians come to church. As a priest, I must try as much as possible to be neutral. Not to say that I belong to this party or to encourage one party at the expense of another party.
Meanwhile, in a phone interview, Council of Churches in Zambia, CCZ General Secretary Emmanuel Chikoya, has also frowned on the act.
Our position is that we do well to just treat everyone in the same way without giving prominence to some of these political players. Just imagine if you were to give all the 16 potential political parties space in the church, there will be chaos in the church. And so the pulpit must be used for preaching the gospel.
In a separate interview, another clergyman, Bishop Joseph Kajila, has expressed a different view.
So I do not understand why people raise eyebrows when the church comes and begin to talk about certain things that involve the welfare of the people. Because Proverbs chapter 31, verse 8 and 9 is encouraging someone who is an authority that speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. So that is the role of the church. Is that not politics? Politics is touching the welfare of the people. How we have to govern ourselves and how we have to develop as a people.
Zambia awaits the outcome of the various upcoming by-elections. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Alliance for Community Action, SCA Executive Director Laura Miti, says the appointment of the Chief Electoral Officer at the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, should be done without political alignment in a vacancy that has been created by the leaving of Patrick Nshindano. In a statement issued on her official Facebook page, Ms. Miti states that appointing a person of integrity at ECZ is important as it is central to the electoral democracy and running of peaceful and credible elections. Ms. Miti adds that there is need for Zambia to emulate other countries like South Africa who have an independent electoral system, hence winning the trust of all stakeholders, including the opposition. She says appointing a person who is competent and independent is paramount to ensuring credibility of the commission. She was reacting to a statement from ECZ that the commission has entered a mutual agreement to separate with Mr. Nshindano, effective 7th August 2022. Mr. Nshindano joined the Electoral Commission of Zambia in 2019. This is Camnet Television News. We take our first break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Zambia National Education Coalition ZANEC Executive Director George Hamusunga has urged young girls to take advantage of the free education and not rush into marriage, especially those in the rural areas. In an interview, Mr. Hamusunga says most girls in the selected parts of the country focus on marriage instead of education, an issue he says remains worrisome. Meanwhile, Mr. Hamusunga has also advised the current administration to come on board and support the schools with girl-friendly facilities that will ensure that more girls return back to school.
We have free education that has been, declared from ECE to secondary education. What we want to see is that this free education brings more girls in schools and it allows these girls to stay in schools. And therefore what we are calling for government is that they really need to support these schools with girl-friendly facilities that will ensure that we retain our children. It is also incumbent upon the schools to ensure that they provide the required support that will support the retention of these children in schools. But more importantly also, I think we need a lot of sensitization, especially among parents, even among the learners themselves, to ensure that children can start valuing education and know that they do not need to play with the opportunity once given. They need to take this opportunity and ensure that they remain in school. We are a very privileged country, especially that we have the re-entry policy as well, which allows those girls who may have gotten pregnant to be able to come to school. But what schools should be focusing on also is to help prevent pregnancies among our girls so that we don't lose them in the system.
The Civil Servants and Allied Workers Union of Zambia has welcomed government's decision to come up with a strategy of domestic debt dismantling, as this will also see civil servants who are owed personal emoluments such as settling in allowances and leave benefits being paid. In an interview, Union General Secretary Makai says civil servants have for a long time been demanding for personal emoluments to be paid, as government has accrued huge arrears over the past few years. He has also advised government to make sure that all payments are made in due time going forward to prevent the creation of another backlog. Minister of Information and Media Chushika Sanda on Monday, in a press statement, announced Cabinet's approval to dismantle domestic debt arrears, which will include personal emoluments owed to civil servants.
This should not just be a pronouncement made from a cabinet decision, but we should see action following. And we want to urge that as these monies will continue to be provided to the ministries and the other spending agencies, it's very important that us as unions are involved to make sure that we know who was owed and we know who has been paid. This is a very good action that government has taken, because we are all talking about investing for the future. And one obvious thing which we have seen is that most of us as government workers are highly indebted. So if these liabilities, if these moments which we are owed by government are paid out, long service bonus, people from 2012 when long service bonus was abolished, a lot of people have not been paid their long service bonus. And some of them have become destitute because they've retired without getting their long service bonus. So all these monies, if they are paid to these workers, this will help the workers to come up with strategies on how to prudently invest this money so that it can be of help to them and their families going forward.
Msazala constituency member of parliament Elias Daka has appealed to the church in Nyampande chiefdom to prioritize offering spiritual guidance to the people of that community. Mr. Daka says spiritual guidance is an important ingredient to the well-being of the people, as it can be a source of social support which provides a sense of belonging. He adds that spiritual guidance gives hope to the hopeless, and Zambia, being a Christian nation, depends on the clergy for spiritual guidance. Mr. Daka was speaking at a welcoming service for Reverend Saleta Banda to the Reformed Church in Zambia Nyampande congregation. And Lusangazi District Commissioner Mike Tembo says government collaborates well with the church in a bid to attain development in various sectors. Meanwhile, RCZ Church Synod moderator Axon Banda asked government to assist the church in connecting electricity and water to its buildings. And a representative of Chief Nyampande, Alaida Lungo, asked the church to ensure that their servants are allowed to work in an area for long, unlike a situation where the clergy are being transferred within a space of a very short time.
Spiritual guidance help to lead a better lifestyle and maintain better mental health, as analytical skills increase to handle challenges, situations in life in the best possible manner. Additionally, spiritual guidance gives meaning to life. We are able to know the meaning of life. It encourages people to serve towards becoming better persons. Furthermore, spiritual guidance gives hope to the helpless. Spiritual customs and teachings helps people heal from sustained pains and hurts.
Ezo punzisa lini tiala ba Reverend Vaso ba Sereta na seo tiri mu office ya boma tamvua ti sebenzele pamo we treat our people fairly and squarely kuti tiendele pamozi titukule district yasu ya Lusangazi.
Takabapo za malaiti na manzi na zina IMP na DC titandizeni. I think the president has been talking about issues of developing our country, and one such thing is the CDF. I wanted to appeal to the DC and the MP to make sure that a number of our people, especially the young people and the women, benefit from those funds.
Kuti azibusa wakawela panopanya mpando nkalishalini patonto chikazikiso patonto chimasulo koma pempa mfumu kuti vasinodia wabusa ankaleko pano.
KWACHA constituency member of parliament Andrew Tayengwa says the approval of constituency development funded projects CDF have begun in KWACHA, starting with projects from 2021. Speaking to Camnet TV News, Mr. Tayengwa says skills development training and bursary approval is already underway, with about 253 shortlisted from 500 applicants in skills training and 80 selected for bursaries. He says there are plans to upgrade Kamala Clinic into a hospital in order to decongest Chilenje Level 1 Hospital. Meanwhile, Chilenje Ward 8 Councillor Ruben Mwenya says the approved projects are expected to commence in a space of 2 weeks. More in the following report.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, since attaining office in 2021, had announced the increase in Constituency Development Fund CDF allocation from 1.6 million kwacha to 25.7 million kwacha slated for in the 2022 national budget. However, concerns have been that despite government stating that there is enough money to spearhead developmental projects at constituency level, there has been a series of drawbacks in the actualization of constituency-funded projects. There has been calls to decentralized decision-making at council level, as procurement process for these funds has been said to be too long to enable efficiency, and this has caused stakeholders, especially from opposition political parties, to question the authenticity of the CDF allocated funds. Wednesday, 3rd of August 2022, earlier Member of Parliament for KWACHA constituency Andrew Tayengwa says KWACHA constituency has begun approving some projects to be undertaken under the CDF, starting with projects from 2021. He says they have started approving some skills development training projects and bursary schemes with about 253 shortlisted from the 500 who applied for the same training.
Of course, CDF, what we've done, we've had the school bursaries and the skills development bursaries approved. We had about 500 applicants for skills development. Then what we approved, I think about 253, somewhere there. Then for school bursaries, we had a total of about 200 and something. Then about 83 were approved for those CDF 2022.
And speaking on it towards Chilenje Level 1 Hospital to donate cleaning chemicals, Mr. Tayengwa says there are also plans to upgrade Kamola Health Post in order to decongest Chilenje Hospital.
Some clinics, I'm glad to tell you that also there are some clinics that we need also to upgrade. For instance, the Kamola Health Post. God willing, because we're in touch with other people that are willing to sponsor if we could put up a first-level hospital again, so that we can have a first-level hospital in KWACHA constituency. We only have Chilenje, so we need to have another one so that we can try and decongest this one. So we are in talks with the sponsors, and we've already adopted the drawings for material first-level hospital. In due course, I'll be able to give you more information.
And Chilenje Ward 8 Councillor Ruben Munya has also added his voice.
100, then the driveway, the paving, about 450 somewhere there.
And that's CDF?
That is CDF, yeah. Okay. So the ablution, it is under the 2021 CDF. Then for the driveway and the wall fence, the fencing, because we are also facing the hospital, we want to demarcate. There's a bit of encroachment, so we need to secure these premises. So even the wall fence together, wall fence and the driveway, it's costing about 600-700 kwacha for the 2022 CDF. But for the ablution, which I think the contractor will be on site maybe in 2 weeks' time from now, it's under the 2021. Yeah.
Mercy Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet Television News. We'll take a final break. We'll be back with more in international sports news.
Water is life. Each drop counts and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RainGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
And now in international news, South African police arrested more than 40 men over suspected illegal mining on Tuesday in Krugersdorp outside Johannesburg. Authorities in Gauteng province have stepped up their operations against illegal miners in recent days, following reports of the gang rapes of 8 women and armed robbery of a video production crew. The suspects in that case are allegedly illegal miners, but none of those detained on Tuesday have been directly linked to the incident, which outraged the Krugersdorp community. Gauteng Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Elias Mawela said while the 40 men were arrested for their own deeds, the process of taking DNA samples and fingerprints could help other investigations. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
The South African police says they have arrested more than 40 men over suspected illegal mining in Krugersdorp outside Johannesburg, following reports of the gang rapes of 8 women and armed robbery of a video production crew. The suspects in the case are allegedly illegal miners.
This operation is one of those sustained operations we are running in the province to can deal with illegal mining and illicit businesses. So, but this is on another level. Usually you see us when we deal with this illegal mining, we do the disruptive operations. We do the disruptive operations whereby we also remove their tools of trade.
Authorities in Gauteng province say they have stepped up their operations against illegal miners in recent days, but none of those detained on Tuesday have been directly linked to the incident which outraged the Krugersdorp community, according to the police.
The process of taking the fingerprints, the DNA, the buccal sample, whatever, it's our investigation chain. We'll continue with that, because when we do that, it also assists us to can link these people with other crimes which they've committed before. So it will help us to can deal even with those who were evading us all along.
Spent firearm cartridges were also found near one mine dump after 3 suspects engaged in a shootout with police before being detained. The illegal miners, known as Zamazamas, dig for gold in the Johannesburg area's many closed mine shafts.
A new and surprising cabinet unveiled in Somalia. The country has appointed the former deputy leader and spokesman for the Al-Shabaab Islamist group as religion minister, the Prime Minister Hamza Abdi Barry said Tuesday. The announcement marks a sharp reverse of fortune for Mokhtar Robo, who has spent the last 4 years under house arrest after a falling out with ex-president Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed, better known as Farmajo. Finally, I call on the Somali people, wherever they are, to welcome and work with the new cabinet of the national interest to perform its hefty national duties. Tuesday's appointment include a deputy prime minister, 25 ministers, 24 state ministers and deputy ministers in a 75-member team, with the parliament due to vote on the nominees.
Carrying candles, singing and displaying the Congolese flag on the floor, members of different social movements and politicians remembered the 36 people who died in the last few days during protests against the United Nations mission in the country. We are making a certain connection with the memories of all those victims who fell innocently, who fell in an awful and cruel way. That is the reason for our mourning tonight. And we believe that justice must be done at the national level and at the international level, because indeed we must recognize who the perpetrators are, who the guilty ones are, so that they are judged and condemned. Meanwhile, the government is reassessing the presence of UN peacekeepers after the protests against the force in the country. We do not want this MONUSCO in Congo, because we will not continue to count the number of deaths of our compatriots killed every day. And yet, there are armed groups that are here. There are foreign forces in the DRC, and MONUSCO is also killing us. No, we say no to this. I say no. Demonstrations escalated after UN peacekeepers opened fire on civilians, killing 3 in Kansidi, an eastern border post with Uganda, earlier this week.
It's now time for sports news. Zambia Army Commander Lieutenant General Sitali Dennis Aluwuzwi has promoted Green Buffaloes Women Football Club players who were part of the Copper Queens bronze medal winning squad at the 2022 Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON. Goalkeeper Hazel Nali, defenders Anita Mulenga, Agnes Musesa and striker Barbara Banda have been promoted to the rank of sergeant, while midfielder Irene Lungu is now a corporal. Defenders Martha Tembo and Lushomo Mwemba are now Lance Corporal, with striker Natasha Nanyangwe coming in as private. Speaking at Army headquarters in Lusaka when he met the players, Lieutenant General Aluwuzwi commended the players for the splendid performance displayed at the tournament and urged them not to relent as they prepare for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. Lieutenant General Aluwuzwi assured the players of the command's support during the 2022 Hollywood Bets COSAFA Women's Champions League that kicks off in South Africa this Sunday, where Buffaloes are in Group B alongside Young Buffaloes of Eswatini and Olympic de Moroni from Comoros. And striker Barbara Banda has thanked the Army commander for recognizing the players' hard work before thanking her teammates for qualifying to the FIFA Women's World Cup and minting bronze at the WAFCON. And still in sports news, West Ham have agreed a fee of 40 million euros, including add-ons, for Leo defender Amadou Onana. The Hammers are looking to bolster manager David Moyes' squad before a second consecutive European campaign. However, the deal for Onana 20 is not completed yet, and personal terms are still to be agreed for the player. The Hammers are also interested in signing Burnley playmaker Maxwell Cornet, 25, who scored 9 goals in 26 games for the Clarets last season. Dakar-born Onana was capped at youth level before making his senior Belgium debut in a 4-1 Nations League defeat to the Netherlands in June. Onana signed for Hamburg before the 2020-2021 season and swiftly established himself as a first-team regular for the German second-tier side. After joining then French champions Lille in August 2021, Onana made 31 appearances in Ligue 1 last season and featured in all of the club's Champions League matches, starting in a 2-0 defeat at Chelsea in the first leg of their last 16 tie. West Ham are set to make Onana their 5th signing of the close season following the arrivals of goalkeeper Alfonso Areole, midfielder Flynn Downs, defender Naef Agued and forward Gianluca Scamacca. To end Camnet television news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. Embattled Joe Malanji vows to defend the KWACHA seat from the UPND. Confusion erupts as census applicants overwhelm ZAMSTATS. Government urged not to employ a UPND cadre as chief electoral officer. In international news, South Africa police makes 40 more arrests after gang rapes of 8 women. And in sports news, Army commander promotes Green Buffaloes players. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from John 16 verse 33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. You will have suffering in this world. Be courageous. I have conquered the world. Thank you once again for watching Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.